I love rocks. I've been thinking about it, and I can't even really explain it to you why I like rocks so much, but I do. They're certainly reliable, and they can be so beautiful. Have a look at these pictures of this is a slot canyon in Arizona called Antelope Canyon. And if you drive past it on the highway, it's just like this trench in the ground, like just about a meter wide, and it's just flat ground all around it. You would never know, but it's about 20 or 30 feet deep, and if you walk down into it, that's what it's like. If you ever get a chance to go there, it's in Page, Arizona. It's just stunningly beautiful. I think we all long for beauty, and I think that we're drawn to it because it reveals God to us. And so that's what I'm talking about today. Another one of our 6 Lenten themes, which is beauty. I want this to be higher. Sorry, can someone make it go higher? I can't really read. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, that thing. Right. Perfect. Oh. Wow. Okay. So, not the kind of beauty that's like superficial appearances, but the kind of beauty that comes from being whole, to be a flourishing human being, to be holy, a whole person. So let's start with how the majority of us become more beautiful. I'm going to show you some of my best rocks. Aren't you excited? All right. This is a piece of pink granite. I got it for free on the beach of New Brunswick. They have miles and miles of free pink granite in New Brunswick, if you ever want some. This is a piece of sandstone that I got by the Grand Canyon, not in the park. I waited till we drove right outside the boundary of the park, made my husband stop, and then I ran and got a piece from the Grand Canyon. This one is super cool. This is from the most northern point of Canada. My husband worked for the NRC for a while, and he got to go on a research trip up there. And so it's up the very tip of Ellesmere Island. It's the 83rd parallel, like only 7 more degrees to the North Pole, about 800 kilometers to the North Pole from there. When my husband brought it back, he said, it's a good thing you like rocks because there's nothing but rocks and snow and the occasional polar bear there. It was light the whole time he was there. The sun just went in a circle around the horizon. You know, Canada is 5,400 kilometers wide. Do you know that it is 4,600 kilometers from south to north? Isn't that cool? Okay, that's from there. Wow, this breathing thing is a little irritating, isn't it? Sorry? Like that? Sorry, guys, I'm so technically inadept. Is that... Yes, fix me, please. Sorry. Okay, that's good. That's good, right? Okay, but this is my best rock. This is a meteorite that my husband bought me for Christmas one year from a store. I think it was called Meteorites Are Us. I had a little silver cage made for it so I could wear it like that. Isn't that cool? That's my best rock. Now, I know all those rocks are beautiful, but you know how you make rocks even more beautiful is, of course, by polishing them. You know that, right? You've seen unpolished rocks, and then everybody knows what this is, right? Rock polisher, got it for my birthday. All right. Makes all sorts of beautiful polished rocks. Unfortunately for us people, it's also bumping around and coming up against our own sharp edges and other people, being tossed around a slurry of unpleasantness that polishes us up in life. It's called the rock tumbler of life. You know, that kind of misery that has no particular end date or a clear understanding of what's happening to you. It really does bring out the best in us. What did C.S. Lewis say? God whispers to us in our pleasure. He speaks to us in our conscience, and he yells at us in our pain. I'm going to pass around a basket of polished rocks right now. So the next time you're having a crummy time in life, you can take one of these. I don't know if there's enough for everybody, so just fight among yourselves. Anyway, you can take one and put it on your bedside table and think, oh yeah, I'm becoming more beautiful. Isn't that great? Turns out you can actually have more polished rocks than you need. So my husband would be grateful if you took one. Okay. So this last 6 weeks I've been away. I was in Hawaii and then I was sick. And it's been pretty tumbly for me, and quite frankly, I did not enjoy it. But I can tell you some of the good things that have come out of this last polishing, even though I hated it. Back in January, I took the first dose of a new medication for migraine. I've had migraine since I was about 20, and it was quite simply a miracle. Within 2 weeks, I stopped having headaches. I've had headaches for 40 years. It's not that I didn't believe people when they told me they didn't have headaches all the time. I just had no understanding of what it was like. And the headaches just went away. And it was quite wonderful. We were in Hawaii at the time, and I had more energy to accomplish things than I normally do. And I got to do all these things that normally trigger migraines for me, like going to the beach and sitting in the sun. And I even had a quarter cup of wine and a cube of cheese, normally forbidden foods for me. And it was a strange experience. And I also took the opportunity to bring, I hope, a little bit more beauty to the world. And into my surroundings. We stayed at this condo, and the only thing that I can figure is that the person, in an effort to be economical, decided to make all their own artwork to go on the walls. It was unskilled. That's generous. So in this bedroom, there was a picture of some pineapples. Can you show the first one? That. Okay? It was pretty awful. So we happened to have some watercolor paints along with us. So we just took it off the wall and added some stuff to it to improve it. Okay? It's not a lot better, but it's better. And then we just hung it back up on the wall in the bedroom. So I don't know if anyone's ever going to notice that we did that. And for any of you who are worried that perhaps it was like a Picasso and we've defaced it, they can just take a wet cloth and wipe off all the paint that I put on there because it's just watercolor paint. Anyway, so that was my contribution to the condo in Hawaii. When we got home from Hawaii, I took the second, it's a monthly injection for this thing, and I came down with this awful allergic reaction that I'm still recovering from. 5 weeks later, it's still bothering me. My skin went crazy. It was kind of like there was like an electrical current all over my skin all the time. I couldn't sleep because of the itching. I did everything the doctor and the pharmacist told me. Had creams and all this kind of stuff, and antihistamines and stuff. And finally, they put me on steroids to get under control. When I showed the reaction to the neurologist who had prescribed the drug to me, she goes, "Wow. I've never seen anything like that before. I've never even heard of that." Like, great. Hey, do you know what some of the possible side effects of steroids are? Besides the fact that you could have trouble thinking, speaking, and walking, one of the side effects potential is inexplicable happiness. Isn't that great? I never got it. But inexplicable happiness, is that not the best? Okay, so here's a few things I learned. This, like I said, the last tumble in the rock tumbler of life. being angry at yourself for being sick does not make you get better faster. I get so angry at myself when I'm sick. It just seems like such a colossal waste of time. If I'm not being productive in life, what's the point of my life? And from many people's point of view, there is no point. My parents were very productive. My parents got stuff done for God. What was I doing? Lying in bed feeling miserable. And I don't know about you, but as soon as I'm not able to be as productive as I want, that 4-letter word starts floating around in my head. Pamela, you know what you are. Lazy, 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 lazy. And we all know that being lazy and being sinful is pretty much the same thing. So a couple weeks ago, the co-pastor, Paul Teal, wrote to me and said, how are you feeling? You know, what do you think you're going to be able to contribute to this coming week? Because you haven't been feeling well. Like, how can you help on Sunday? And so I wrote to him and I said, put me down for whatever you want. I've decided I'm going to be fine by Sunday. And he wrote back and said, Pam, I'm not sure that's how it works. You didn't decide to have this allergic reaction. I don't think you can decide for it to end. And so he was suggesting that I have some grace towards myself. That's a novel concept, okay? And that I read something in a Nadia Boltz-Weber post that helped as well. She said, maybe you are some of the awful things that you are, think that you are. And maybe God has already forgiven you for that. That helped. So I had both Paul Teal and God showing grace towards me. Wow. I decided if they thought I qualified for some grace, I'd give it a try. And I like it. What does the Westminster Catechism teach us in its archaic language? The chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy him forever. Isn't that a statement of tremendous grace of God towards us? No condemnation there. So that was lesson number 1 from my recent tumble in the rock tumbler of life. Lesson number 2 was the experience of being so weak and helpless. I hope I'm a compassionate person, but I have to tell you, occasionally when I see street people lying on the ground, all these messages from my youth come back, and I have this thing like, can you try just like a little harder? Wouldn't you be in a better place in life? Can you just, try a little harder? The truth is, those people are sick. Look at the number that chemicals are doing on their bodies. How is that different from what I experienced? Do you feel disappointed in me that my body's taking so long to get rid of this drug that I've taken? If you saw me lying on the sidewalk, mumbling to myself, trying not to scratch my itchy skin, would you feel compassion for me? Because that's what I was doing, folks. I was lying in bed at home, stoned on antihistamines, trying not to scratch my itchy skin and mumbling to myself. We are no better or worse than anybody else, my friends. We just have different circumstances from others. One of our suggested Lenten practices this year is sacrificial giving to the Union Gospel Mission, who works with the unhoused. And I want to show you a couple minutes of a documentary that I came across about the fentanyl crisis in the east side of Vancouver. There's a lot of fucks in this, but I'm hoping that you can look past those words to the core of what this man is trying to say. Okay.
Shoplift so I can get some money and support my habit, because that's what you gotta do these days, man. I fucking feel like shit already because it was a $4.25 shot I just did, and
Is it already worn off? It's only a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I don't go to fucking jail, like, trying to do it, then maybe I'll get paid and get some more dope, but it's not fun, man. I hate it. Like, I can't stand it, dude. I've spent, over 10 years of my life behind bars. Like, For what? A fucking drug addiction? Something that fucking kills me? Like, I know what I'm doing, and I know that it's bad for me, but like, you know, we've all got our problems, and I'm just trying to, man.
What's done to your life?
My life has been absolutely dragged through the mud. I've lost friends, I have lost family members, and I have nothing. I live on the fucking street. I freeze almost every night, and I steal to eat and support myself. I hate my life. I fucking hate it. I wake up in the morning wishing I didn't. That's opioid drug use, intravenous drug use for you. I feel terrible. I wouldn't wish this on person. I wouldn't wish living like this for the person I hate most in the world. It's not living, man. It's dying. Like, you're running yourself into the ground every day and willingly doing it. And why? Because you're too scared to be dope sick or get off the drugs? No, it's because it's when you've done something for so long, that's all you know, man. All I know is jail and crime and fucking drugs. That's all I know. I'm lost. It sucks. I got a 5-year-old son, man. Doesn't know who the fuck his dad is.
Isn't that something? I encourage you, as you're able, to give sacrificially this Lenten season to the Union Gospel Mission. So that's an account of how God has changed my life a little bit in the rock tumbler recently. Part B. This part's way shorter. Let's consider now why we are drawn to beauty. I think that noticing beauty is a kind of shortcut to understanding God. When we encounter beauty, it kind of sneaks past all the language and the world's views that we have rattling around our brains, and we can see and experience God intuitively. I think beauty puts us in touch with our pre-conscious intelligence capacities, where we can experience awe and where our deepest and truest desires lie. I don't know about you, but sometimes I feel kind of confused about God. What is God? Who is God? How do you know God? It's just distressingly vague at times for me. But you know what I feel sure about? Beauty. God is beauty. And you can enjoy beauty without any need for language. I just feel longing. You know how beautiful music can move you so deeply sometimes? Like I said, it just bypasses all that other language and other preconceived ideas that you have floating around in your head. So when I'm having a hard time Bible reading or even listening to Paul Thiel's old sermons, I just stop trying to understand God for a while in my head and just spend time looking for beauty around me. And I just try and let go whatever else I'm doing and just enjoy that beauty as much as I can. Have you guys ever heard of the Kalahari Bushmen? We've got a picture. I don't know how big it is. They were there. That's one of the Bushmen there. And the guy he's talking to is Lauren Vanderpost, a guy who befriended them. They live in South Africa in the 50s and advocated for them. They were in that movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy. Do you remember that? They had all the clicks and stuff like that. So anyway, they were talking to him one day, and they just mentioned offhand something about the stars singing. And he said, "What do you mean?" And they said, when the stars sing. And he said, "I can't hear the stars sing." And they just laughed because they thought he was joking, because everybody they knew could hear the stars sing. And when he explained to them he really couldn't hear the stars singing, they became very concerned Because the only people they knew who could not hear the stars singing were people who were gravely ill. When you want to hear the stars singing, I do. So not surprisingly, to pay attention to beauty, you need to be in the present moment. That's one of our spiritual practices for Lent, is trying to spend 10 minutes a day in the present moment. And you have to slow down to see all the beauty that's in you, that surrounds you. So for our last thing, I'd just like to invite you to join me, if you want, in a little spiritual exercise to make you more spiritually fit. As usual, if you hate this kind of thing, just ignore it and think about something else. All right. This exercise is designed to give you permission to just rest in the beauty of the present moment. So follow along as you will. Let's just take a moment and slow down inside ourselves. Slow down. You can close your eyes if that helps. You can always take a moment, but you have to take it. No one will give it to you. It's not theirs to give, but it is yours to take. Such an incredibly valuable, beautiful gift to give to yourself. A moment to slow down and savor all the beauty around you. A moment to reset, a moment to receive, a moment to feel a sense of relief. You know what it feels like to slow down inside. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to relax a little, feel into the feeling of spaciousness. Feel your body. Just notice what you're feeling. No need to change anything. Everything is welcome here. Slow down your breath and feel its calm, nurturing flow and centering and grounding you in your body. Notice your emotions with curiosity and gentleness for yourself. Just being curious about whatever shows up and whatever you feel. And if there is resistance, be curious about that too, with compassion for yourself, for all you've been through. No need to analyze, understand, or figure anything out. Simply slow down. Feel your ability to feel. We are feeling beings. How does it feel to you right now to take a moment and slow down? 5 minutes a day to slow down and feel into your own being. This will really and deeply serve you in so many beautiful ways that are yet to be discovered. Taking time for yourself to slow down and reset is like manna from heaven, or sipping a little goblet full of divine nectar. It is a deeply nourishing gift you give yourself. You have choice. You have freedom. You have the power of love within you. You have compassion, and you have your beautiful, loving heart. This is what really matters, who you are, your inner being. You are a being of infinite love and brilliant light. You radiate the beauty of you into the world. Amen.